Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be going over how to create projects. Before we can start, we have to answer a couple of questions first. What is a project, and when do we create a project? A project is the next phase of any approved estimate. It's where the actual management of the project happens. From labor scheduling to cost tracking and everything in between, this module is the primary module of the entire website. When do we create a project? Anytime a customer approves an estimate, a project is to be created. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. Here is the project module. Just like all other modules, there is widgets on top of our current projects. First widget, action items, shows any items that are currently open. Currently we have 64 bills open, 5 invoices open, 24 POs open, 0 punch list items open, that's a plus, 0 RFIs open, and 1 to-do open. Next widget is this week's tasks. As you create a project, you actually can go into each project and create a labor schedule. This right here will show you this week at a glance. So for instance, on Monday we had crane lift, and Monday through Thursday is structural steel repair, all for Irvin Cobb. Coming up on Thursday, we have another crane lift. You can hover over it, see what the project is, or you can do what I did and just put a little bit of the name at the very end of the task. Down here is our labor, estimated versus actual for the last 4 products or projects created. Here's your unpaid items. You got 305,000, almost 306,000 in unpaid bills, 434,672 in paid bills, and 102,000 in overdue bills. Over 2 million in paid invoices and 232,000 in unpaid. So, this is just project metrics at a glance. And then here's your projects by status. We have 3 projects currently in the submittal phase, 0 in procurement, 17 are currently in execution, 53 are in closeout. Closeout would be final documentation, securing customer acceptance, and doing your final invoicing. 2 are in warranty. I know there is more than 2 in warranty. Just still working on cleaning up the whole database. And 2 completed. Again, I know there are more than 2 completed. I'm just going through working on cleaning up the entire database. Now that we've got all that figured out, let's create a project. We're going to go to our estimates. And in the last video, we did a test estimate. We had submitted it. Now, if you can look here, I approved it. And if you use the system and send it this way to where you can get approval, it will automatically approve and create a project for you. I'm going to show you what that does by manually approving the project, because that is a lot of times how we do it here. So I'm going to approve this project. Approved. As soon as I click approved, it's going to ask me, do I want to create a new project based on my estimate and customer details? Yes. I do not want to add items to my schedule of values. I want to do that myself. I do not want to generate an invoice because that's going to do a line by line based on every single line item we have. And I do not want to create a schedule because what that's going to do is it's going to look at every single line item and create a scheduled event for that. The only thing that you want to create through this process is a new project. Click OK. Now we have our new test estimate project. As you can see here, This is the project number, and I cannot change it. It automatically assigns the very next project number available anytime a estimate is turned into a project. There are a couple of things that you want to do when you create a project. One is you want to come down here to your schedule of values, and you want to go ahead and populate this. Reason being, it is infinitely more easy to do any type of invoicing with a correct schedule of values. Now, the majority of our estimates, you will be able to come in here and import from estimate and then import sections and just grab these sections. Like a service estimate would be equipment, material, labor, and subcontract. A Generac would be the generator, the transfer switch, the material, the labor, and any type of discount. A PM, you would not be able to do this. And a typical large project, you would not be able to do this. I'm going to show you how you would do a large project and a PM. What you want to do for a large project is you want to go to your estimate and you want to bring it up and go to your items. This bar right here is going to save your life. Go back to your scheduled values. Add manual project item. And I'm going to call this mobilization. Type is other. 1 lump sum. Mobilization is anything that is not equipment, material, labor, or subcontract. So that's going to be your office overhead, your permits, your any type of lodging that you have put into your estimate, uh, everything that is not. So you get your freight, your warranty, your bonds, your risk, your overhead, your permitting. If you had to add margin for whatever reason, I mean, you can get your mileage. Here's your hotels, per diem, uh, stuff like that. So we're going to create a mobilization tab. And that, like I said, is item type other. Come to your estimate and go to other. Other is this purple. For other, we have $46,405.12. 46,500. My memory's horrible. $46,405.12. Save and add another. This is going to be material. Come to your material bar. That's this blue one. $288,035.62. Now with material, don't forget to click this and continue. Next will be equipment. Your equipment is green. $27,500. Again, click this. Save and add another. This is going to be labor. $53,900. do not tax this. Save and add another. I'm adding two other labor lines that will have to be extracted from your labor quantity. Now, I don't think we had any engineering on this. We did not. So I'm not going to put that. Instead, I'm going to put project management. Now, for project management, we had a total of $1,320. So I'm going to save and close. And here's what I'm going to do. Because this was put together so poorly, I'm going to come through and tally this up. We had $1,320 there for project management. And down here, we had $1,320 there for project management, which means we had $2,640 total for project management. Now, we have to pull that out of our mobilization because it was listed as other. Our mobilization is now 43765.12. Okay. Now we're going to come up and add one more item. Subcontract. All right. Now we're going to look at our subcontractor. $16,500. So now you might be thinking, well, it's only showing $432,340.74. Why is it only showing that? That's because it's not added in the tax. Right, there's a tax. I want to make sure everything's right. $53,900. Equipment. Aha! Our equipment. Going through and looking, making sure everything's right. Some of the material didn't get taxed. So now we will remove that. Since some of the material did not get taxed in the estimate, we have to add a manual project item. Kentucky sales tax, and that is another. Come down here, $17,216.14. Now, time to go through and make sure everything's got the correct cost code. You could have done that whenever you were going through, but I like to make sure I get the numbers correct first. Then I go back and kind of correct everything. So on this, I'm just going to call it, we could have broken this out into electrical labor and mechanical labor. We didn't. We could have broken it out mechanical demo, mechanical install, electrical demo, electrical install. We didn't. As far as your cost codes go, you could break it out as much as you want. I didn't just for this. If I were doing this for an actual project, I more than likely would. Right now, we don't have a line for subcontractor, and I'm going to make sure Kentucky sales tax is there. Okay, so now we have 449,556.88. 449,556.88. So now that took all of 5 minutes. If you were wanting to go ahead and invoice so you could go ahead and order a big chunk of material, here's your schedule of values. I understand that sometimes you're only going to send one or two invoices. The schedule of values does not take long to set up and expedites invoicing tenfold because it lines everything up the way you want it to be invoiced. The last thing we're going to look at is the schedule. As you see here, there's nothing. I can't do anything. Reason being, we need to go to details. We need to give it a start date. Start date is going to be here. Come back, refresh. Anything? Anything? Nothing. We need to go ahead and give it a preliminary end date. A good reach is a month. You gave it a start date. You gave it a preliminary end date. Now, you can go ahead and start your scheduling. So, I'm going to back it up. I'm going to say we're going to start today. Look at that. It's went ahead and backed it up to the today being the start date. And furthermore, I'm going to bring up the crew schedule. This new task is going to be known as test crew schedule. And it's going to last 3 days. And I'm going to give it to Andy. Why? Because he's on top. And I'm going to give it to Barry because he doesn't have anything on his name. Save. Now, if I go to my projects, test crew schedule shows up through here. And now, if I refresh my crew schedule, Andy now is scheduled For Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, for my test estimate, which when he gets a notification, it will tell him the task is test crew schedule, and Barry is scheduled for my test estimate. Again, when he gets a notification, it will show him his task is test crew schedule. If you want to schedule multiple projects at the same time, come to your little drop down and hit schedule. This is where you can bring in multiple projects that you have going. And you can see them simultaneously. And you can schedule them out. So now my test estimate next week, I want to start in wall rough in. And I want Brandon and Henry to do that. And that's going to take them a week, or 2 weeks, sorry. And that is going to start on the 28th. Okay. Go back to my crew schedule. Henry is now scheduled all week on my test estimate, and Brandon is now scheduled all week on my test estimate. This is the schedule that the guys get. This is how they see what they're scheduled to do throughout the day, unless it's a service ticket. And here, you can bring in your projects and see them all laid out. That way you know what crew you have where, and you're not double booking. That's going to be all for this module. If you got any questions, give me a call. Until the next one.